You read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you sell it. You want to sell it. Well, yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Wow, words that can best describe this franchise. Jurassic Park made its mark of being an iconic film for its way of depicting a story and using a mix of CGI when necessary, and practical effects making moments feel as real as they can fucking get. But that's just the gist of it. It had good characters, a great story behind it, and a premise that could have failed drastically, but when you have a competent director, great actors, and an adequate writer, you're bound to have, well, a fucking good movie. Well, most of the time. Now, although the story was based off an already established book, Steven, being the genius he is, altered a few characters such as John Hammond, making it more compelling and not generic. But like all good things that become a success, greed finds a way. The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and the other two stinkers never lived up to the classic. Lost World, although tried something different, it didn't stick the landing for the most part. Jurassic Park 3 took a piss on the fans, Jurassic World used nostalgia to reel the fans back in. Fallen Kingdom had a stupid premise, and this leads us into Dominion, which felt like the last piece holding on to this tower from completely collapsed but ultimately failed to hold on. Jurassic World Dominion takes the premise of what if dinosaurs lived in our world and doesn't use them, from promoting it constantly to barely using it. Who the fuck was behind this? So the world is in shambles, humans are trying to learn how to adapt with these prehistoric animals, while the government tries to stop the black market from taking advantage of the situation. A neat premise that immediately ends because the real issue here is bugs are eating up all the crops. This is a dinosaur movie, by the way. Owen and Claire have adopted a clone girl who's responsible for all of this, yet faces no consequences for her actions, but becomes an important piece to save the world. Release a bunch of fucking dinosaurs to end up becoming the most important aspect upon saving the entire world, merely fucked up in the beginning. Colin, you absolute genius. Very stubborn, disobeys Owen and Claire despite not understanding the situation, ends up getting herself and Blue's kid captured by an evil corporation called Biosyn. That is run by Dodson from Jurassic Park, if you remember. My theater was complete dead silent when the name dropped.
Nobody cares.
Al and Ellie returned to the franchise after the dumps fire that was JP3, but managed to be in a much worse film than the last outing. Since they need them to do something, they enter the facility, and Ian Malcolm works at the facility. Yeah, Ian Malcolm, the same dude that protested on keeping the dinosaurs around. The same dude that challenged John Hammond on creating a park beyond his understanding. The dude that sat at the court and gave every reason to not save these dinosaurs.
Done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
And now works at a facility that keeps these dinosaurs safe. Jeff Goldblum doesn't even give the same Ian Malcolm vibes. It seems like every film he's now in is the same character, Jeff Goldblum. Ellie apparently met up with Ian and gives her access while Dodson is looking straight at them, not questioning a single damn thing. Also, Ellie does say in the movie, I slid into his DM. What in the actual fuck? Old people using modern slang is not good for business. Owen and Claire meet up with the pilot who was present when they traded Clone Girl and felt guilty for not doing anything about it, so takes them on a plane to visit the facility to rescue her. Ellie and Grant get confirmation that Biosyn is responsible for the destruction of the crops. Maybe if the government questioned Biosyn's involvement, since Biosyn seeds are the only seeds in the entire world that have no impact from these bugs. Not only that, they're the only laboratory which consists of prehistoric animals, and locusts are prehistoric. It all adds up, doesn't it? Dr. Wu created these bugs, might as well add that on the list of humanity crimes he's done. Biosyn released dinosaurs to prevent the plane from reaching the atmosphere. The plane is heavily damaged and must immediately crash land, but first he must eject Claire from the seat. Now, why didn't the pilot not have parachutes? Well, because she's a solo. Nor did she prepare herself in a case of a situation where multiple folks are on her plane, because fuck safety. Oh, and there's only one fucking ejector seat, and isn't even built in the main seat, because unbuckling your belt, walking to the seat behind you, strapping yourself in is much more quicker than just placing an ejector on your fucking seat. Don't ask questions, just consume. Kyla and Owen crash land on the ice. Meanwhile, Claire meets a dinosaur which has long nails. Sorry, I don't know the fucking name of that dinosaur. I'm just gonna call him Long Nails from now on. But don't worry, Owen manages to find her. How? Don't know. No screams, no signals, no nothing. Owen happened to just find Claire at a random spot in the forest, probably as a tracker or something locating her. This does not make sense at all. Clone Girl finds out her mother was a genius and actually created her. and did some medical magic to prevent her from getting the same disease she did. And Dr. Wu, who finally realizes all this was a mistake, about damn fucking time.
I never asked for a monster.
Al and Ellie release the locust and it triggers an alarm. Macy escapes and she runs into the two. All three escape and run into Owen and Claire Kyla. Dodson is in panic mode and his facility has been compromised, and Ian tries to expose him in front of his own people. Dodson kicks Ian out before he reveals too much because the main villain is scared of the people who are working for him. He fires Ian and Dodson's entire work is in shambles. So he decides to recruit who he treats as an apprentice in a way, but guess what? Even he ended up being a traitor and goes to help Ian and the others. Now Dodson, you want to continue your work beyond this point. Your entire work is based off the potential extinction of the human race with prehistoric bugs you've created in the laboratory in your facility. There are serious repercussions. Oh wait, this is the Jurassic Park universe. Serious actions for world-ending catastrophes mean nothing in this trilogy. He goes in his advanced looking subway but is surrounded by 3 Dilophosaurs. It's a callback to when Nedry was eaten by the same dinosaur, but nobody gives a shit about Dodson.
See, nobody cares.
Wong joins the team and escapes Biosin after the bugs have perished and have set the forest on fire. We also see a new threat, the Gigantosaurus, or the Gigantosaurus. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that name. But this is no Indominus Rex, as it is taken out in the most bitchy way possible. Dinosaurs remain free in the world. Al and Ellie end up together while Wong is able to reverse engineer the locust to not shred the crops to bear nothing. And also didn't face any repercussions for his work that nearly ended the world more than once.
I never asked for a monster.
Finally, Owen and Claire end up together and raising the clone girl. That's it. That's Jurassic World Dominion. Wow, what a load of shit. This is a good lesson for big companies to stop dishing out low quality films to just make a quick buck. But greed does find a way, and no way to provide a better example than the Jurassic Park franchise. From sequel to sequel, the franchise has been nothing but downgrading itself to eventually hit rock bottom. It's like buying a motorcycle and there's a certain weight limit, but one of your buddies offers you tons of money for a ride, you become greedy and accept the offer. The bike isn't performing too well, but it's getting the job done. Another fella comes along and he offers twice as much. You get greedy and accept the offer. The bike begins to fail and you lose control, and the bike ends up crashing and burning alongside your buddies you offered to give a ride knowing the bike couldn't handle it. To put in simpler terms, there's a point in life where you need to learn when to stop, reevaluate, and realize too much isn't fucking good. Star Wars and Marvel have already fallen into this deep hole and could possibly suffer the same fate. Quality over quantity is such a great statement, yet companies suffer from this concept. If you told me what is Owen's arc, I would probably be just sitting there staring at you for eternity because I have no fucking clue. The only character that somewhat received an okay character work would be Claire. She went from a businesswoman who only cares about the green to dinosaurs are cool and I want to protect them. The first film already set the premise some things should stay dead and humans are a bunch of morons that love to touch things from the past. No need for sequels whatsoever. What I'm trying to say is, it's time to bury the franchise for good.